Welcome to the Wisdom Within podcast. I'm your host, Lara Jaye, and today we are diving into the heart of emotional well-being, why our emotions matter, and how to process them effectively. This is an overview from chapter 12 entitled Sweet Emotions from my best-selling book, The Wisdom Within: Cracking the Secrets of Meaning, Purpose, and Security. You know, emotional processing was never a subject in school. No one sat us down, taught us how to feel, express, or move through emotions in a healthy way. Instead, most of us were conditioned to suppress, ignore, or power through our feelings. We were told to stop crying, be strong, shake it off. If not, we were seen as weak. And even without realizing it, we learned to shove our emotions down, burying them beneath layers of distraction. We numb ourselves with food, overworking, scrolling endlessly, or keeping busy just to avoid sitting with what's really there. Emotions don't just vanish, though, because we ignore them. They actually get stored in the body, waiting for us to acknowledge and release them. And until we do, they continue to shape our physical health, our relationships, and the way we experience life itself. Emotions are the essence of our human experience. They guide us, they inform us, they shape this way we interact with the world. And emotional healing isn't about eliminating difficult feelings. In fact, it's about learning how to experience and move through them with awareness. When we acknowledge and process our emotions, we create space, beautiful space for clarity, peace, and personal growth. A crucial step in emotional healing is recognizing what triggers intense emotional responses. And it's different for all of us. Triggers are those sudden, overwhelming reactions that seem to come out of nowhere, except they aren't random, actually, at all. They're deeply rooted in past experiences, unresolved emotions, and even generational patterns. A comment from someone, an unexpected bill, people being late. These small moments can ignite something big inside of us. Why? Because they tap into an old wound that hasn't fully been processed. We're all walking around with these unhealed pieces, stored not just in our minds, but in our bodies, our DNA, and our energy fields. Most of us have been conditioned to, like I said, shove it down, push through, distract ourselves, until life keeps sending us the same situations, the same patterns over and over, forcing us to pay attention. I used to think, my goodness, I have so much to heal. And what took me years to figure out, I'm sharing with you now. Many of us, especially old souls, came into this lifetime carrying enough emotional baggage to fill a 747. And instead of storing it neatly in the cargo hold, we're lugging it around every cell of our body, packed into our nervous system, just waiting to be triggered at every turn. And the fun part is, we attract what we are, which means the more unresolved trauma we carry, the more situations and people show up to mirror it right back to us. It can be very overwhelming, but there is a reason for it. We came here to clear these layers, to release the outdated patterns and beliefs that keep us stuck, and to step into a higher version of ourselves, every one of us. Where did all this trauma come from? And how do we finally release it? In my book, The Wisdom Within, I go deep into the origins of trauma, ancestral wounds, collective pain, past lives, and even the energy we absorb from others. And regardless of where it came from, where it started, the truth is, if it's in your energy field, it's yours to clear. And that's the work. That's the responsibility. This isn't easy, and it's not for the faint of heart. And you're not alone. When we begin to see our triggers not as enemies, but instead as invitations, clues, guiding us toward healing, we reclaim our power. We begin to unravel what's been buried, and in doing so, we make peace for something far greater, the full expression of who we were always meant to be. When we suppress or ignore these emotions, whether it's grief, fear, resentment, or anything for that matter, unprocessed, those energies don't disappear. They settle in the body, creating tension, stagnation, and over time, a cascade of physical imbalances. Our bodies are intricate energy systems, always seeking harmony. But when emotions go unacknowledged, they disrupt that flow. This can manifest as chronic pain, digestive issues, fatigue, migraines, or even autoimmune conditions. The body is constantly communicating with us. And when we don't address emotional wounds, it starts speaking louder, first as whispers of discomfort, then as full-blown symptoms demanding our attention. Stuck trauma isn't just an idea. It has a physiological impact. When we experience emotional distress but don't process it fully, the nervous system remains in a heightened state, keeping us in fight and flight or freeze mode. Over time, this dysregulation affects everything from hormone balance to immune function, stress overload. For example, unresolved anger often lingers in the liver, contributing to inflammation. Grief, when unexpressed, tends to settle in the lungs, creating tightness or even respiratory issues. Fear and stress, they get stored in the gut, leading to digestive disorders, bloating, and tension. These patterns are not random. They're the body's way of signaling where healing is needed. The key is learning to listen, release, and realign. Our bodies remember what our minds may have long forgotten. This is why certain places, smells, or interactions can instantly bring up emotions we thought were buried. Trauma held in the body often keeps us in a state of hypervigilance or numbness, making it difficult to fully experience joy, connection, or peace. And by recognizing and unpacking our triggers, we shift from being controlled by our emotions to becoming conscious participants in our emotional well-being. The world is a reflection of what's going on inside of us. What is your world showing you about yourself? What does it want you to see? Or what does it want you to have awareness about? It's not about beating yourself up. It's about getting quiet and becoming aware, going inward and examining, observing. This is maturity. This is EQ, emotional intelligence. EQ is the capacity to be aware of the control and express your emotions and to handle interpersonal relations judiciously and empathetically. EQ is the key to both personal and professional success. It is not reacting to triggers. And aside from working with a qualified energy healer or therapist, there are many things you can do on your own to begin healing. It all starts with awareness, though. Instead of reacting impulsively, take a moment to observe what's happening within you. Ask yourself, what emotion am I feeling right now? Where do I feel it in my body? What past experience might be influencing this reaction? Is this reaction actually proportional to the situation at hand? Other steps to process and heal your emotions. Number one, acknowledge and name the emotion. Many people struggle to name their emotions beyond basic labels like happy, sad, or angry. expanding our emotional vocabulary, recognizing these deep feelings like I'm disappointed, I'm frustrated, resentment, or vulnerability helps us process them more effectively. Number 2, allow yourself to feel without judgment. Often we suppress emotions because we believe they're bad or inconvenient. But emotions are simply energy in motion. Instead of pushing them away, allow yourself to feel them fully, even if it's uncomfortable. Number 3, use somatic awareness. Our bodies hold emotions in ways we may not even realize. When we feel grief, our chest may tighten. Anxiety can manifest as a knot in the stomach. Pay attention to where emotions are showing up physically and use deep breathing, movement, or stretching to help release stored tension. Number 4, write it out. Journaling is a powerful way to process emotions. Write without censorship. Let your thoughts and feelings flow onto the page. Often this practice brings clarity and helps release pent-up emotions. Journaling is one of my favorite ways to release. Number 5, practice self-compassion. Speak to yourself the way you would comfort a dear friend. Instead of judging yourself for feeling a certain way, remind yourself, it's okay to feel this. I'm allowed to process my emotions in my own time. Number 6, seek healthy expression. Some emotions need to be expressed outwardly, whether through talking with a trusted friend, engaging in creative activities like painting or music, or even physical movement like dancing or exercise. Find what helps you release emotions in a constructive way. And number 7, reframe and integrate the lesson. Once you've moved through an emotional experience, ask yourself, what did this emotion teach me, and how can I grow from it? Every emotional wave carries wisdom when we are open to receiving it. After the trigger has calmed, ask yourself, WWLD, what would love do? What would it look like if I led with love in all I did? What would you love to do in this situation that I feel triggered in? Honestly, triggers make us human, and they're controllable. Take responsibility for yourself in releasing those stuck emotions before you blow. Healing isn't about never being triggered again. It's about responding with awareness instead of reacting unconsciously. Each time you pause, breathe, and meet your emotions with curiosity rather than resistance, you reclaim your power. You create space for transformation. You break old cycles and step into a new way of being. Remember, your emotions are not your enemies. They are messengers guiding you toward deeper self-awareness and alignment. So the next time you feel triggered, take a moment to ask, what is this teaching me? How can I respond with love? Healing is a journey, and you're not walking it alone. Thank you for being here, for doing the inner work and showing up for yourself. And if this episode resonated with you, I would love to hear your insights, connect with me, share your reflections, and most importantly, be gentle with yourself. And until next time, trust the wisdom within. Have a great rest of your week.